Kojoji.
Akasi ebesi ye hene.
No, something to say.
E hom popo eguso. Eguso. Awurade be bi amaye. Ai.
Na yen hwe sadia enyoma etie wo ha. Oba ye so far ebra mo say na twa mo bebre ba ye ho say mo keka mo ho expectations mo meeting.
Expectations in the meeting. Delays abam. That's so you meet expectations. No one say normally. Say when you are holding an event of such grand scale, time no ya na e kakra. Africa for you say maybe the African time. So about as a tradition when you acceptable there, but you pull about but so far I say baby I do there. Within the next about 20 minutes, you know, I'm say we'll get going.
Mate na proposals abeto dwa no emudia wen na hunu say na ebra so kro atwa me wasa omugitu me na nyina kankrata.
In principle we have to agree per the recommendation of both the suggestion from Okwe's committee and that from the constitutional review, you know, expansion area, we are agreeing to it in principle. But as to how far we'll be able to go by way of the expansion, I said that is going to be the topical idea our hand. Recommendation is a young graduate, young graduate kakra. If you want to go to near country, send eventually you better do level up. Or your friends card bearing members, a bit to me at all. But ideally,
okay, motions for amendment of NPP Constitution and na yashred and Jabesa alcohol grounds. But so far the shooting it down a year motion number 17. But it's a year as I surprised more we have a show the election of communication directors.
Yes.
And the conference again not to said the next election the director of communications and a deputy in your say Thomas Waba.
Almost fi NDC for. Also, be sure time be some position appointed in the NPP. Into be sure na when to the doors. Any abudia kekanin tokwane doors.
Okay.
Into where the o carry hu hwe na ju wudia ko gina ho ne nto so aba. Utie ye ne de mawa. But you see am say so mu chire mu yi. Director of communication, director need 2 deputies.
Yeah.
And so there was spokespersons for the party and the flag bearer.
Yeah.
Until Omina no share director of communication Asiana. It just said as
we so share NDC dear na. For now him say NDC na ayebi. Yeah, omono from Tete. Omo to aba ediye omo director of communications. Now omo other thing 2 deputies.
Yes.
Yeah, omo share. Omo so carrying the Sami Jemfi. There's Malik Basentali and there's one other guy. Referee say Facheme. Yet 3.
Yes.
With Sami fee as a figurehead. The others ne counting na communication team members of the party.
Exactly. It is here talk about Mawa. Na se so muna edu.
Yeah.
It no afi umma instruction na ebeko.
But certainly we are still you said the election now. You're still going to have amount for be a spokesperson to the flag bearer. As
I said, you know, synchronizing or kabum. Na konko information nko say flag bearer candidate no. Na party in different position. No.
Okay.
Another one and that will be clash of ideas. And I said, what Asempa no be a candidate.
So the director of communications taking charge of
exactly
the entire
communication of the party. And the flag, yes. That's why Sanders say no. Because so you communicate.
I remember now James Ajenibwati, a spokesperson to Professor Nana Jino Popajman, Erica Jane and deputy. And the president,
one of the
James Power, also a spokesperson
for
to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and now a Binsuye, the deputy.
Yes.
Bastoni or Sami Jemfi.
Sami Jemfi. And I make us home. I come back to say no. Near Yatua Bamano. Or no more power than why I appoint you. Until the Sabbath, I send a bear Asempa, when you know, Manubeko directors of communication in party spokespersons.
Okay.
As so many no should form a committee headed by the director of communication.
Okay.
Now say assembly no person Oma no ko benkro mu a. Omo de be ma omo team no. Na ne nyina tumi atreke down because we sure regions omo regional communication directors. Constituency omo will be.
Fachem, yes, I go back to University of Ghana Sports Stadium.
Party's campaign advisory committee to enhance collaborative work between the party and the campaign.
Delegates in favor, say aye. Against, say nay. The ayes have it. Number 37. One to three, comprising the against said nay, and two others, one of whom shall be a woman. 5 is also a new provision. Amend Article 10 of the Constitution,
The parliamentary group
13.
Okay, so I was wrap up na call a
So, entino say ombeto abama office of the
Director of Communication.
Director of Communication. Yare papa.
Okay.
When you nyina to betwa. And I mean my customer party now on radios. Director of Communication doesn't mean they be able to radio soon TV so ko kasa.
Okay.
E your kwaya amane boy fi party ni mo. Mo be share atutu ye e de mo chitafo. Na se mo deploy mo so mo nko media mu nko kasa no makọ kasa yi. Se ba se information bi amane bi na se so di betu dwa. Wo Director of Communication is you now so you can have a Director of Communication on kasa radio so on kasa o TV so as no
or your operational work.
Or your operational so ye na dwuma yi.
Okay.
Enye se ko tran radio so TV so kasa nko na we Director of Communication. Ono wo mo yeso da bi. Nti ono esiso onya statistics media houses monitoring. Bibia de ekoso wo party ne sana manfo e kasa feedbacks. I feel radio ni TV so ni social media ni bia no. Esiso na utumi gather sa report ni nyina. What my analysis no. Now they come neck. No matter that is a big position.
So Dr. So we share NPP Professor Mike Okwe committee omuti to find out the entire party in LOZ. One of the key highlights on board a hard party was their communication. Especially the communication between government and the party.
The ehona asem no wo. It's a political communication the most difficult part of communication in the written.
Obi akwena the only mohwe.
It's a levels in a woman.
Yeah.
And sometimes one share enipa no ewo oman afana nyina.
Yeah.
Enti obi ejina baabi na oka asem bi. Na nye party ni position. Number 1 adwene.
Depend on the person now workers.
Yes. But because he say we linked so
yeah
to the party or can say my fans party if we party na neighbor.
Okay.
Obi o we party supporter, party activist. Na wakusi billboard or baby. I mean chiro bibi. Who can remember me campaign?
Yeah.
2024.
2020, yeah.
Remember me campaign?
Yeah.
Say no more you should remember me campaign no, it was 2016. But at a minimum level.
Yeah.
As propaganda, money juma.
Yeah.
And no, Mr. the bar
Provision
2020.
requiring the need for the body to be constituted by the executive committee to recommend removal before the summoning of an extraordinary delegates conference for the purpose of removing an elected officer from office and for specific timelines for the removal process of such elected officer.
Chairman, this amendment brings clarity in the removal of officers and avoids the convening of an extraordinary delegates conference without recommendation from the body constituted by the executive committee.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 42. Amend Article 11.7 of the Constitution to explicitly provide guidelines and procedure for the removal from office of an appointed officer or executive to be done by the relevant executive committee with prior approval of the immediately higher executive committee.
This amendment, Chairman, clarifies the process for removal of appointed officers. Submitted.
Those in favor, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. 43. That's a new provision. Amend the Constitution by inserting a new provision to provide that national officers, ministers, deputy ministers, CEOs, and other government appointees who file to contest to become a parliamentary candidate of the party in a constituency with a sitting member of parliament shall resign their positions at least 12 calendar months to the national general elections.
Chairman, this is to ensure fair competition and a level playing field to all prospective aspirants for the position of parliamentary candidate. Recommended.
Those in favor, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. 44 is a new provision. Amend Articles 12 and 13 of the Constitution and insert a new provision to grant voting rights to former members of Parliament, former parliamentary candidates, former metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives, former ministers, former deputy ministers who are card-bearing members of the party at the parliamentary and presidential primaries.
The amendment seeks to expand the Electoral College for the presidential primaries to promote inclusivity and broader participation, and is in line with the proposed limited expansion.
Delegates in favor, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. 45 is a new provision. Amend Articles 12 and 13 of the Constitution and insert a new provision to grant voting rights to former constituency executives and former regional executives at the parliamentary and presidential primaries.
The amendment seeks to expand the Electoral College for the presidential primaries to promote inclusivity and broader participation, and is in line with the proposed limited expansion.
Those in favor, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. 46. Amend Article 13(1)(6) of the Constitution to provide that national officers, ministers, deputy ministers, CEOs, and other government appointees who file to become the presidential candidate of the party shall resign their positions at least 24 months to the national general elections.
This amendment, Chairman, is to ensure fair competition and a level playing field to all prospective aspirants for the flag bearership slot.
Delegates in favor, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. 47. Amend Article 13(1)(9) of the Constitution to completely abolish and do away with the special electoral college and super delegates system.
Chairman, the special electoral college system, which was introduced in the 2009 constitutional amendment to shortlist aspiring presidential candidates, is believed to have outlived its usefulness. This is recommended, Chairman.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 48. Amend Article 13(4) of the Constitution to provide for the election of a presidential candidate when the party is in government to a date not later than 18 months instead of 11 months before the national general elections.
Chairman, this amendment, if approved, will give the party's presidential candidate an extra 7 months to campaign before the general elections. Submitted.
Delegates in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 49. Amend Article 13(11) to grant voting rights to 5 members of the Constituency Council of Elders and 10 members of the Regional Council of Elders at the presidential primaries.
These constituency and regional elders are members of the Constituency and Regional Delegates Conference, respectively. Polling station and electoral area executives who form part of the delegates to the Constituency Conference have been given voting rights at the presidential primaries. The exclusion of the elders is an omission which should be rectified. Respectfully submitted.
Motion number 50. Amend Article 13(11) of the Constitution to include 30 national patrons and all members of the National Council of Elders to be part of the presidential primaries.
The National Council of Elders is the foremost advisory body of the party and therefore ought to be adequately represented at the second highest decision-making body of the party. The national patrons also occupy an important position in the party structure. The expansion of their members in the presidential primaries is therefore appropriate. Respectfully recommended.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. 51. Amend Article 13(11) to grant voting rights to 5 constituency patrons and 10 regional patrons at the presidential primaries.
These constituency and regional patrons are members of the Constituency and Regional Delegates Conference, respectively. Polling station and electoral area executives who form part of the delegates to the Constituency Conference have been given voting rights at the presidential primaries. The exclusion of the patrons is an omission which should be rectified.
Delegates in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 52. Amend Article 13(11) to grant voting rights to 1 TESCOM patron from every recognized tertiary institution in the presidential primaries.
52, right?
52.
Chairman, this amendment allows for inclusivity and broader participation. This is in line with the proposed limited expansion.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. 53. Amend Article 15(3) of the Constitution to make all female delegates at the National Delegates Conference eligible to vote for the position of National Women Organizer.
Chairman, the current regulations on the election of the National Women Organizer is not inclusive. This amendment, if approved by conference, will allow all female delegates, I repeat, all female delegates, to participate in the election of the National Women's Organizer. Recommend the chairman.
Delegates in favor, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. 54. 54. Delegates, delegates, delegates. Delegates, delegates, delegates. Permit me to read. Hello, Mama Kromeyadin. Kromeyadin. 54. Amend Article 15(4) of the Constitution by defining youth in the Constitution to refer to a member of the party who is not above the age of 35 years.
My chairman, the age limit for youth per all the international conventions and national laws shows that the highest age limit is 35. The UN puts the age bracket between 15 and 24 years, the WHO between 15 and 29, UNICEF between 15 and 24, the ILO between 15 and 24, the African Youth Charter between 15 and 35. In Ghana, the National Youth Authority Act, Act 939, defines a youth as a person between 15 and 35. My chairman, views on this motion are very divided.
Distinguished delegates of conference, those in favor of motion number 54, say aye. Those against, say no. I will take this vote again. I am going to take this vote again. I am taking this vote again. Delegates in favor, say aye. Those against, say nay. Nay! Nay! Conference. The nays have it. Meaning we revert to the status quo, which puts the bedding age of youth at not above the age of 40 years. 55. Amend Article 15(4) of the Constitution to make youth delegates at the National Delegates Conference eligible to vote for the position of National Youth Organizer.
Chairman, the current regulations of the election of the National Youth Organizer is not inclusive. This amendment allows all youth delegates, I repeat, all youth delegates, to participate in the election of the National Youth Organizer? Submitted, Chairman.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. Well, the ayes once again have it. Certainly, this is the last motion. 56. Amend Article 15(5)(d)(e) and related provisions that refer to national coordinator at all relevant levels. To refer to the national coordinators as coordinators as NASARA organizers.
Chairman, by the nature of their functions, NASARA coordinators should be referred to as NASARA organizers, just as is done with women and youth organizers.
Presiding Conference Chairman, General Secretary of this great party, before I draw down the curtain on this National Annual Delegates Conference, I'll read.
We didn't vote on this one.
Oh, sorry. Those in favor of motion number 56, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I will now, for the benefit of conference, read the sunset clause, which is ordinarily referred to as the transitional provisions. And this has been drawn by the Constitution Amendment Committee in line with the existing practice. Whereas the National Council of the party has, pursuant to Article 13(1) of the Constitution, scheduled January 21, 2026 as the date to elect the party's 2028 presidential candidate. The National Annual Delegates Conference has on this day, the 19th day of July 2025, adopted the proposed amendment to expand the Electoral College for the election of the party's presidential candidate to include all former members of parliament, all former parliamentary candidates, all card-bearing former ministers, all card-bearing former deputy ministers, all former regional executives, all former constituency executives, all former branch executives, all the members of the National Council of Elders, the members of the National Council of Patrons, regional and constituency patrons, regional and constituency elders, and TESCON coordinators. The National Annual Delegates Conference has on this day adopted a proposed amendment to expunge the Special Delegates Electoral College from the Constitution. The term of office holders in the party from polling station to the national level has not expired. I repeat, has not expired. Accordingly, the prospective members who are to be afforded the right to form part of the structured offices at various levels by elections shall have their rights held in abeyance until upon the expiration of the tenure of the incumbent office holders. Now, therefore, it is proposed that for the avoidance of doubt, the effective dates for the new amendments relating to the additions to the polling station executives, electoral area executive committee, constituency executive committee, regional executive committee, and executive committee shall the January 31, 2026 presidential primaries. However, as adopted by the National Delegates Conference on this fateful day, and given the fact that the dates of the conduct of the presidential primaries have been set by the Constitution in accordance with the dictates of the Constitution, the provisions pursuant to the new amendments on presidential primaries, that is Article 13, particularly the expunging of the Special Electoral College and the expansion of the Electoral College for the presidential primaries to include former executives, former regional executives, former external branch executives, former members of parliament, former parliamentary candidates, former MMDECs, former card-bearing ministers and deputies, TESCON coordinators, party patrons and elders shall take effect immediately. Shall take effect immediately in order to give effect to the decision of the National Council and the National Delegates Conference in respect of the presidential primaries. This policy seeks to bring clarity on the effect of the adoption of these amendments by conference on this day is hereby moved for the consideration of conference. At this stage, distinguished delegates, those in favor and all in favor of this motion, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. It is my desirable pleasure at this stage to say to conference that our duties as the Constitution Amendment Committee in respect of today's conference has come to a close. Nonetheless, it is instructive to notify all delegates that the preparatory work for the drafting of the new Constitution or amended Constitution pursuant to the adoption of these elaborate constitutional amendments would begin in due course. We thank you all for the support and cooperation afforded us. God bless all our distinguished delegates. God bless the great NPP party, and God bless our homeland, Ghana. We shall always be bold to defend and resist the oppressor's rule. Thank you all very much.
Eti Botainti a NPP Amoyokuo Edeko University of Ghana Legon Sports Stadium no esi Botaya party a party no kwai no asi So no more 56 motions. Amamremun sakre mako aduonum insia. Ewi akire no aduonum and 954 and a conference agiatum. 2 conference anyantum. The most interesting Sambakaya Abra Nebeka the second one now almost shooting it down. Onam Kojo upon Kroma, the member of parliament for 4 years year. Eka say this one is controversial. And indeed, social year, chairman of the committee, lawyer Frank Davis, Eka said, Sanya Ekwe, this was start taking the second time. So already throughout the 56 motions now. The only one you're reading it twice and are calling for voting twice. And the one on the youth age. 35 shut down, 40 uphold. That was it?
Yes. On say party no. Yeah, the members and a Gina party.
Okay.
Nam penifonu denim. Na members suesion. It is 40 no be drew no. Na just say what the party na say.
Okay.
What the governance I say. What be just say.
Okay, I call back to say Mr. Wada and I'm not sure. So I call back the TS so University of Ghana.
Constitution Amendment Committee, the Planning Committee, our hard-working delegates, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a distinct honor and a privilege to offer the vote of thanks at this landmark gathering of our great party, the New Patriotic Party. On behalf of the organizing team and the entire party leadership, I wish to express our deepest gratitude to all of you for your presence, commitment, and continued dedication to the ideals and progress of the NPP. Let me begin by sincerely thanking the representatives of our former presidents, His Excellency Nana Adom for conveying their messages and solidarity with this conference. Their legacy continues to shape our vision, and we remain grateful for their enduring service to party and country. To our hard-working national executives, we commend your leadership and tireless efforts in steering the affairs of the party with vision and unity. A special appreciation goes to Greater Accra Regional Chairman, Chairman Divine Otu Agohum. We thank you very much for the warm welcome and the excellent coordination of this conference. Permit me to also extend a special commendation to the Constitution Amendment Committee and the National Planning Committee for their exemplary dedication and impactful work. Your contributions have been very good, and we are extremely grateful. We are also thankful to our invited guests, fraternal parties, and all stakeholders whose presence has added great value to this conference. To our gallant members of parliament, regional and constituency executives, polling station executives, TESCON, and the Youth and Women's Wing, your energy, loyalty, and commitment are the heartbeat of our party. Thank you for your service. Let me also acknowledge the protocol, security, media, health, and logistical teams who have worked diligently behind the scenes to make this event seamless and successful. As we live here, may we be reminded that the strength of our party lies in our unity, our resolve, and our shared purpose to build a better Ghana for all. Once again, thank you all for making today a memorable success. May God bless the New Patriotic Party. May God bless our great nation, Ghana. Thank you all, and have a safe journey back home. Thank you.
Eti Jerry Ahmed and a day vote of thanks. And so, Abakwesi,
Yes.
still on the youth.
Well,
Near motion 17.
yes, and I say party bia ho de na ejina emebu no so.
Okay.
Nti mpanifo no wanimu no na emebu ni suesua mpanifo no.
Okay.
Enti no se okonya party na se omo de age for the youth no omo peg it at 40 and below. I think yeah, because 40 and below no I say omo dan tem. Enti no picking up the good ideas of the party, picking up a normal paper film penny for them, it's so easy and swift. nti you believe say bedu sa time no e be a school kura na wo kwa wakwa wie wo ye adwuma fe na wa share abrabo
40
no at before ubedru ho
okay
na wa share abrabo ase
okay
say party politics na person ya na wa nani su kakra
okay
nti say that no who take over from impediford ultra 40 no aburu the age youth bracket no so a smooth and good transition nti me gidi say na compare mo de 35 no na ye be mo say de be mo mpene na emabunu say de nti no o ma no ye den no say de bi o ma asem no na e we say conference ni tie na so pam
so share the 2021 population and housing census it pushed the youth age bracket in between 15 to 35 or
yes, 15 to 35.
Then that's amounting to around 38% of our general population. In Tinaka and Yan Papa say party no be situated with that population census. As most of them are between this age bracket. Is it 35? It's a person be a leader or some or so you'll be our come. Then you'll be outside their bracket.
There be 14 who come.
40 still 35.
Who come?
5 years difference.
Yo, 5 years difference. Now you take class. Will be or 15 years. Will be what 21. Will be 30, 35. We now level 1.
School no man content.
Yeah. To come. They fall within that bracket. They fall within that educational bracket.
Okay.
So you know, and I mean, say age. You know, not just the numbers.
Okay.
It's about maturity. It's about achievement. At the time, nobody do no. Let's just say, oh, penny if you're 38, 30 now, we'll go 40. Okay. Those are your youth, no one mature. Into your cross 40 now, supposition can see me at Mama or party in cry.
Okay.
Yet we saw a beam. So for me, we didn't say a mebu no much on one say. Into say, yes, a young 5 age, you know, almost 10 40. It's a
but I say.